Can I build a $100 million trade business from scratch using AI in the next 5 years? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I'm a third generation ticketed tradesman. I've got over 25 years of experience in residential, commercial, industrial. I've worked with companies from 1 employee to 1,000 employees. I've owned a marketing agency, an automation agency, 2 e-commerce businesses, and for the last 3.5 years, I've been building with AI. And after all that, I keep coming back to the durability of physical service-based businesses and the question, if I had to build a trade company again today, would I do it the same way? I don't think I would. Most trade companies eventually become super complicated. Dozens of services, custom quotes for almost everything, hiring people, buying trucks, buying software, more software, buying leads, and then trying to make it all fit together somehow. So what if we started with the opposite idea? 3 to 5 high-value products, standardized pricing, financing built into the offers, AI and code built into the operation, media that creates its own distribution, centralized demand, standardized fulfillment, and fixed overhead only when demand proves that we actually need it. See, none of these ideas are completely new, and that's not the bet. The bet is what happens when you combine all of them from day one and design the company around it. Design it around simplicity instead of trying to remove complexity later. And I'm going to be building the whole thing in public. The research, the decisions, the numbers, the mistakes, the first customer, the first hire, the first truck, the first market, and eventually, if it works, the first acquisition. And here's the part I'm most interested in. I have no idea who's going to be watching this, but some people watching the series might eventually become employees, operators, partners, or even bring us a business that becomes part of what we're building. Because this isn't going to be a show about how to build a business. It's going to be a record of actually building one. That is the real build. And right now, the company doesn't exist. So before I actually build the company, I need to set up the environment that I'm going to be building in. This is day one. Let's get into the build. So the first thing we're going to need, obviously, is the infrastructure. As I said, this is going to be an AI first business. So we need to set up where we're going to build, where we're going to apply all the skills, where we're going to do the research, and what will eventually become the foundation of the company. So with that said, let's jump into it. So the first thing we're going to be setting up is VS Code. So let's jump into it. So I've already downloaded it. If you haven't already downloaded it, you'll have to do that. Next thing we're going to set up is Node Package Manager or Node, if you don't have that, because of course we're going to need that to manage packages and install a bunch of the things we're going to be installing next. So jump into the link. I've already installed it, so I'm not going to do that now. Next up, we're going to install our agents into the actual platform. We're going to set up Claude so we can use Anthropic models and use the harness. We're going to set up Codex so we can use the OpenAI harness and the OpenAI models. And then we're going to set up OpenCode, which will allow us to use OpenRouter and use a whole bunch of other models through their harness. So let's get into that now. So the first thing is installing Claude. Depending on what operating system you have, I'm going to grab it there. I'm on a Windows machine. I've already installed it. So first thing I'm going to do is install Claude, run the winget command. You could run any number of commands that are showed on that website for your operating system. So as you can see, it's installed. So now if I run the command Claude, it will open in the Claude terminal here. That one's done. Let's move on to the next one with Codex. Install Codex. Click on Windows. See this. As you can see, we're launching Codex. Yes, I want to continue. As you can see, I'm getting an error. Obviously, AI native company. How do we solve this? You can use ChatGPT, whatever. Ask for the answer. Turns out I got a stale token. So what I need to do is I need to close this. Open a terminal in another window. Open another terminal. Codex log out. Codex log in. Should authenticate through OpenAI, and we're logged in. Now what we should be able to do is go back to VS Code. Now run Codex. That's all set up. We can close that. Now last, we're going to set up OpenCode. So if we jump on over to that website and open the terminal, we will run it using Node. Go back to VS Code. Open our terminal. Run Node Package Manager to install. Now we'll run the open code command, get it set up. Now we want to configure Open Router. You could connect it just about anything. Open Router will give you access to a whole bunch of models. We'll have to jump on over to Open Router and grab a key. Once we're logged in, go on here. We're going to go to, going to create a new workspace. Going to call it Real Build. Create the workspace. Create an API key. New key. Create. Copy the key. Go back over to VS Code. Enter the key. And as you can see, we're now in. We've got access to a whole bunch of models, and we're set up. So the environment is set up. We're good to go. Tomorrow we'll start on the build. Thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow.